In this episode, we're going to take a look at the Master Lock 140D. Hey folks, welcome back to Pugs Picks Locks. If you're new here, feel free to click the subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you're always notified when I release new content like this. Also, if at the end of the video you've liked what you've seen, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Feel free to click that like button and leave a comment or a question down below. I am more than happy to engage with you in the comment section, either to answer any questions you may have, or because I don't get everything right, I don't do everything right. If you have feedback for me, I'd love to hear it. Is there something I could do better? Is there something that I got wrong? Let me have it, folks. Okay, so this is part 4 of our 4-part series into the Master Lock 140D, which, as I mentioned in the previous episode, is an absolutely fabulous little practice lock. It has 4 pins, none of them are security pins, and it's relatively cheap. It's only like $8, $9, $10 at the time of making this video. So in part 1, we went over the city rake and how to rake this lock open using a city rake. We also talked a little bit about how I visualize the core and some of the considerations and differences being a left-handed picker, holding the lock in my right hand and tensioning with my thumb. So if you're a left-handed picker and you haven't seen that video yet, you might want to go take a look. In part 2, we tackled raking the lock open using the same raking, rocking motion with a Bogota pick. And then in the last episode, in part 3, we covered single pin picking using a shallow hook. And in this episode, to close this series out, we're going to attack it single pin picking, and we're going to attack it with a Pagoda pick. And this Pagoda hook is my absolute favorite pick for single pin picking. It's my go-to. It's the first one I try with every new lock. It is manufactured by Southord. And no, I'm not sponsored by Southord, but yes, I would be very happy to be sponsored by Southord. So Southord, if you're listening, offer me and you want to offer me a sponsorship, I would gladly accept. And that was utterly shameless. I am horrible. I am so sorry, folks. Where were we? Yes. So this Pagoda pick, this Pagoda hook, it's a shallow hook, and it has a point. The tip is pointed rather than rounded. And I rather like that profile because as I'm working my way through the pins, that pointy tip kind of slides between the pin stacks really nicely. And so that lets me know exactly where I am within the lock, and so I can then figure out how to get right on top of the pin stack as I'm trying to manipulate those pins. So this is my favorite profile for single pin picking. And like in the previous videos in this series, we are going to be using bottom of the keyway tension using a standard L-shaped bottom of the keyway tension wrench. We're going to use medium tension, and the way I define medium tension is this is light tension, wherein I can slide the pick between my thumb and the tension wrench quite easily. That's light tension. Heavy tension, you can start to see the tension wrench actually bend and flex. And a medium tension is just a happy place in between those two. So I'm going to start with medium tension here. And as I mentioned in the previous episode, I like to work from the back of the lock forward. I go from pin 4 to 3 to 2 to 1. And then I reverse and go the other direction, and I go 1, 2, 3, 4. And I go back and forth like that as many times as needed to set all the pins. So we're going to start in the back of the lock. I'm going to pull the pick out until I feel it catch on pin 4, and then I'm going to test pin 4. And pin 4 feels springy. So I'm going to move to pin 3. Pin 3 also feels springy. Or was that a little click? No, that was just the pick sliding off of the pins. And then I'm going to move to pin 2. And pin 2, that's binding. And I got a nice little click out of 2. And then pin 1 is feeling springy. I go back to 2. 2 still feels set. I go to 3. 3 feels springy. And then back the lock. I go to pin 4. Pin 4 is binding. And I got a nice solid click out of 4. Pin 3 still feels springy. So I'm going to go pin 2 feels set. And then pin 1, that's binding. I got a click out of 1. And so now pin 3 is, by process elimination, the only one that I haven't manipulated yet or haven't set yet. So we're going to go and find pin 3. Oh, something's overset. I can feel it. Okay, so when you overset a pin, what happens is the key pin, which is the pin that's actually touching the tool or touching the key if you're using a key, gets pushed past the shear line. And so it's in the Bible, or at least partially in the Bible, of the lock. And so when the key pin is blocking the shear line, the core can't turn, the lock can't open. And so to address that, we just reset the lock. We remove the tension so that all the pins drop back into the keyway, they drop back into the core, and then we start over. So we go back to the back of the lock, start with 4. I actually got a click out of 4. 3 feels springy. Got a click out of 2. And 1. And now 3. Got a click out of 3. 4, 2, 1. There we go. There's our open. Celebratory swivel. Yay. So again, bottom of the keyway tension. Go to the back of the lock. Medium tension. And then pull the pick out until I hit 4. Got a click out of 4. 3 feels springy. 2 is binding. Got a click out of 2. Or that was 1 actually. 2 feels set. There's 3 and 3. There we have the open. Celebratory swivel. All right. So that was single pin picking the Master Lock 140D using a standard L bottom of the keyway tension wrench and a Pagoda pick, a Pagoda hook from Southord. My absolute favorite pick for single pin picking. Hey folks, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, remember to drop a like and leave a comment or a question below. If you're new here, subscribe and ring the notification bell for more content like this. Until the next video, happy picking y'all.